Good morning and good afternoon, depending on where you're situated. We're just going to give it a minute for everyone to load in, and then we'll get started. All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Alyssa Berry, Investor Relations for The Fresh Factory. The company is accelerating the growth of fresh, clean label, plant-based food and beverage brands. The Fresh Factory has built a vertically integrated platform that spans from the farm to the shelf, allowing it to partner with emerging brands in the plant-based space and help them bring their products to market. Their focus on sustainability and community impact has made the Fresh Factory a public benefits corporation and is proud to be an ESG-focused company. The team operates from a manufacturing facility located near Chicago and serves customers across the United States. Some of their recent accomplishments include strong gross margins, year-over-year revenue growth, and record billed revenue of 7.9 million CAD in Q3 2022 and $20 million CAD year to date. The Fresh Factory's novel food supply chain includes direct-to-consumer, retail, and restaurant channels. In the past year, they've produced over 400 different product lines for 60 customers, demonstrating their agility and ability to execute the product strategy. Today, speaking on behalf of the Fresh Factory is co-founder and CEO, Bill Bessenhofer. Bill is co-founder and CEO and oversees daily operations and strategic planning and shareholder engagement. Bill was president and COO at the Fresh Factory prior to his appointment as CEO. He began his career in healthcare at Cardinal Health, a top 20 Fortune 500 multinational integrated healthcare service company, as a Lean Six Sigma black belt with a focus on perfecting operational processes, improving cost efficiency, and optimizing performance. Bill most recently was the operating partner and COO for Great Point Ventures, a San Francisco-based venture fund, where he maintained operational oversight and managed funds with investments in industry-leading companies such as Beyond Meat and Farmer's Fridge. Bill is a mentor, facilitator, and motivator who has guided multiple portfolio businesses to instill sound processes and achieve challenging goals. Before we get started, please be advised that this presentation, including the question and answer session, may contain certain statements or disclosures that may constitute forward-looking information. Please refer to the cautionary note in our news releases and disclosure documents available on SEDAR. Following Bill's presentation, we will open it up for questions. To ask a question, please use the Q&A function to submit your questions. And with that, I'll now turn it over to Bill.
Thanks, Alyssa. I really appreciate the introduction and giving everybody a little bit of insight of the Fresh Factory. Welcome, everybody. Thanks so much for taking some time today to hear a little bit more about the Fresh Factory. I'm sure some of you who know us well know a little bit of our story. For the people that are new that are joining us today, I look forward to telling you a little bit more about who we are and what we do. And so with that, I think Alyssa said it, right from the beginning here. What are we? Well, really, we're a mission-driven platform, and we're trying to build the infrastructure for the future of the food and beverage industry. And when we talk about something like that, we talk about this platform that we've built, and really focusing in on what we would say is clean label, fresh ingredients, better for you, healthy, plant-based products. And so with that, we have built this vertically integrated platform with really the goal to provide honest food for everyone. And again, when I talk about honest, I mean clean label, fresh ingredients, better for you products, no additives, no preservatives. So that's, what we're doing. And, when we thought back, a few years ago, when we were looking at the opportunity, where was the opportunity? And when we were doing some investments, 7-8 years ago, we started to realize that the infrastructure within the food industry was old. We had this legacy where brands were to grow. They had to be, basically doing products that have additives and preservatives in them. They were basically within the dry space. To even get line time, you'd have to have massive size, massive runs, and quite frankly, really it was just the large players out there that were able to kind of take on that products and those products to help bring people to market. Well, as time has gone on, as we started to see, we realized that more and more new brands in the health clean space, they needed an avenue. They needed some place to go where someone could actually take their product and bring it to market. And with that, you've got these different opportunities where, within the new market, what's necessary was people that could move quickly, they could go fast. They were looking for a supply chain that was within the refrigerated space, not necessarily the dry space. And again, people wanted real food. They wanted real ingredients with real food in them. And they wanted the ability to be flexible. When you're dealing with the large conglomerates, you don't really have much flexibility when it comes to producing and the timelines in which you can produce them. And people wanted to get, products to market much faster. Brands were growing at a rapid rate, while obviously with the downtime here over the last few years, it's been more difficult for brands to get launched, which actually gives us even more value to them to be able to help them with that growth. So that was the opportunity and the thesis behind what we were thinking. And so that's really why we ended up building the Fresh Factory. We built this extremely unique process combining our novel supply chain connections to our manufacturing technology and really, bringing in some of the best food scientists to help with our innovation and development, all the way to manufacturing, to distributing it, and doing many more things than just your average, food manufacturer. And, with that, and Alyssa mentioned, we've done over 400 different product lines, for 60 different customers just in the last 12 months alone. So, really similar to the way Shopify kind of enabled innovation within e-commerce, that's really what we believe as the Fresh Factory is enabling really the future of food and food brands and products of the future. So just to talk a little bit more in depth as it gets to like vertically integrated, what does that actually mean? And everything with us kind of starts with our food science. And we've got, on staff food scientists who help specialize within that healthy, clean label space, because it is a new avenue. And it's something that's not similar to where it was in the past, where if you needed a product to be a certain way, you could just put an additive or a preservative in there and allow that product to have shelf life for 2 to 3 years. So we've got an in-house staff of scientists, food scientists, who are able to take products, to launch much faster than what we would normally have had in the past. We then move on to our supply chain, where we've got these direct relationships with, farmers and packaging vendors all across the United States. Even more so as we got into COVID, where finding packaging was very difficult. Luckily enough for us, through some of our connections and through some of the partnerships that we've had, we were able to find packaging from other areas and other sources, which allowed us to launch some customers. We had a customer that was launching in Walmart. We were able to actually allow them to hit their target, despite the fact that our first vendor wasn't able to provide the packaging that was necessary due to all the COVID. Then we move into our manufacturing, which I think is obviously one of the most important pieces of what we do. And that's in relation to us being SQF certified. And if you're not familiar with that, SQF is similar to BRC, which is mostly in Canada, but it's the highest form of food safety certification you can actually get in the industry. And so with that, we want to be a leader in the space, and what allows us, an ability to have an edge over our competition. And I say that because not everybody is SQF certified, and a lot of, whether it be retailers or quick service restaurants, or just quite frankly, the industry standard in itself, it's being known that if your product, if your facility is not certified, you're going to find that more and more players are not going to bring in those food products into their stores. So having that put in place from the beginning was crucial for us as we built out the manufacturing facility. We also built it to be flexible. I think one of the things we realized, again, as we start to bring on brands and what nature, we realized that having the flexibility to be able to run, maybe some smaller runs and or larger runs, as well as multiple lines, really gave us this flexibility for, customers of ours, and allowed us to really grow with them. Where they may start in one category of product that we make, and then quickly move into another category, which allowed us to be able to help them grow, not just with one SKU, but multiple SKUs. And then we move into our fulfillment, where we've got our pick, pack, and shipping throughout our refrigerated supply chain. We also have dry products as well that we can ship if necessary. But really, with our in-house logistics team being able to coordinate a lot of the shipments that we send across the United States. So I think one of the things that we're able to do that it gives us a benefit is obviously you can put multiple products of customers on a truck, which in theory then will help us with cost savings. As everyone knows, throughout the last year and year and a half, trucking rates have been pretty expensive. And so for us to be able to try to take those prices down, putting multiple pallets on a truck going to, let's say, California from where we're at in Chicago, can help reduce the price for our customers. And then we move into some of our financing opportunities as we work with some of the emerging brands, as it relates to some capital terms, and having experience within that, we're able to help them grow, and as well as in sales and marketing, where we can help with that on the back end, as we have a team that can help with potentially getting them into stores and or helping with the right brokers or things of that nature. And so again, here just a quick slide about what's the power of our vertical integration, right? For us, it gives us the opportunity to get higher margins. It also allows us, it gives us the purchasing and distribution efficiencies as we bring on more customers and like ingredients and things of that nature. We can then buy obviously in bulk and allow ourselves the ability to pass along cost savings, to our customers. And as we bring on more and more to the platform, our SG&A doesn't grow, right? So we can lower or have like no SG&A as you bring on some of these other customers and brands. And obviously, I think one of the big things here is our diversification. There's thousands of food and beverage products launched, every year, which unfortunately most of them fail. But, the way in which we look at things is, it's our diversified approach. What really helps us kind of minimize the risk and the need to just have just one single product, just one beverage, things of that nature. So, and again, we talked a little bit about this, as it relates to, our quality and safety. As you can see here, we have the highest form of food safety in the industry. Every year for the last 6 years, we've scored a 97 or above, which is absolutely fantastic. We are always working as it relates to being certified gluten-free, kosher, plant-based, non-GMO, USDA, organic. So we allow our customers the ability to do quite a few different things, and our facility is capable to handle that. This gets back to kind of more of as a business. The way I kind of look at this is it's similar to a portfolio, and I say that in a sense as an investor. We have many different channels that we ourselves have customers in, and obviously we've got direct to consumer, we have the quick service restaurants, we have really just regular retail brands that are going into the likes of the Costco's and Walmart's and Albertsons and Kroger's across the United States. But we also, we have food service as well. But then we've also got what we have is corporate innovation and working with corporations who maybe are a little bit long in the tooth, so to speak, with the old school way of doing things and wanting to get new products and new things out there into the market much faster, but also much cleaner. And, I think one of the things is, with that, we have an opportunity to help grow with a lot of, old old brands. I give an example. We have a brand that we started working with about 6 months ago, who's been on shelf for 75 years. They came to us and had said, look, we really are trying to clean up our product. We need to figure out a way to take some of these preservatives out, but we need to maintain the same taste. And so in working with them, we were able to do that. We were able to take some of the preservatives out of their product, make it a better for you, healthier product for the end consumer, without compromising the taste of it. And so, for us, that's a big win. And I think that's really where we can come in and really provide value within the marketplace, because we do have the opportunity and the skill set and the team to be able to actually do that. So as it also relates to the diversification, I think one of the biggest things for us was during COVID, we had a lot of quick service restaurants. Quite frankly, they were in San Francisco and Manhattan. And unfortunately, that was like the hub for where COVID hit. Well, at that time, we had sales dry up pretty quickly because there was nobody placing orders. However, because of the fact that we have diversified channels, the direct to consumer space exploded to the point where it actually went way far beyond where quick service restaurants were and the sales that we were getting from them. What ended up then occurring as those quick service restaurants have now opened up, it's just even enabled us to grow even faster. And so we find ourselves in this position where we're growing at a really rapid rate. And I know Alyssa talked about it a little bit in the beginning of the sales that we've seen. And again, that hasn't necessarily stopped. That's continuing as we continue to break records every quarter, and with build revenue and moving forward. So, and this kind of leads me right into my next slide here, of the track record of what we've got. And it kind of, you can read the stats yourself there, but we really are on a pretty rapid trajectory. Now, I know numbers are through Q3 of last year. We will be reporting numbers at the end of April for Q4. I believe I can say that, we are definitely breaking records and continue to break records. We're really excited about what we've done and the types of customers that we are bringing in, because we do find the opportunity to continue to keep growing with the customers we have, as well as bringing on a lot of new customers who are extremely excited about finding somebody in the industry that can actually help them with clean label fresh food and get it to the marketplace at a reasonable price. I think obviously sales is great, but with sales needs to come an operational focus and margin expansion. And so as you can see, our gross margin dollars are definitely increasing and are on pace with our revenue. We've done, I wish things would have come in a little bit sooner. I'd say that we made some capital investments in early 2022, but obviously due to some COVID, their timelines had shifted a little bit further back than I would have liked. But we have finally now, in the end of Q3, actually into Q1 of this year, have started to put in this brand new equipment to allow us better efficiencies within the facility. And we're really starting to drive some margin improvements, which we'll start to see, and everyone will start to see even more so in the numbers as we used to come out and report. I think Alyssa hit on it too, ESG and whatnot. And, again, we're very much environmentally and socially focused. The stats we have here, while they're 2021, our 2022 stats will come out very shortly here. But, just last year in 2021 alone, we purchased 2.8 million pounds, 921 of it was produce seconds. This won't stop. We'll see a sizable increase in 2022 as well. We continue to compost 100% of our waste. We donate our produce extras. And then, we've got a brand that we own as well that we still are donating 1% of those sales. Our team has expanded drastically. We've gone from 50 employees to increase to 67, and at 85 at the end of last year. And I can tell you that even into the beginning part of this year, we're already up again with 15 more people. So our team continues to expand. They continue to be diverse. I think that's extremely important to us. We've got a team of 40% identifying right now, about 40% identifying as women, and then 89% of person of color. So the other thing is carbon neutral. That's something that we are looking at quite a bit, and have projects and look to help our customers with their products, and being able to offer that opportunity for them to be able to put something, a stamp or on their label about their carbon footprint. So that's a project that we're working on right now that we'll look to bring out in 2023. And again, it starts with our team, and we've got just a fantastic team. We've got a CFO that has a large amount of experience within the food industry. His entire career has been within the food industry. Most recently at Greenleaf Foods, which is a company from Maple Leaf. So any of you that are obviously from Canada are familiar with Maple Leaf Foods, their manufacturing. John came to us last June and has stepped in to help with experience as it relates to digging deeper into margins and understanding as a publicly traded company. So he's got some great experience and knowledge that we're excited to have him. Moving on, we've got our food scientist Shiva Ramswamy, who has been in the space for many years, who we lean on and look towards to lead our R&D team. Then we've got our head of commercialization and sales, which is Mike Weglars. Mike came from DuPont, from the food industry, real intelligent young man who has a knack for understanding and knowing fully costs and what it takes to produce healthy, clean label foods. And then we've got Sean Daly, who's joined us in the last few months as our corporate development and head of our Fresh Start program, where we partner with brands that we feel like have this similar thesis to what we are doing and what we believe, and feel like that we can help them grow their business. So we've got a great group of a management team and leadership team, but then we also have a great group of directors and advisors. And so with that, we've got my co-founder and partner, Nate Laurel, who's done many different things within the industry itself, but within multiple other industries as a serial entrepreneur. We've got Jeff Canalupo, who's with Lysenco, where they've invested in companies such as Calm, one of the first investors in Calm. We've got Lindsay Levin, who was one of the first early employees of RX Bar, who brings just a wealth of knowledge as it relates to quick expansion and growth, as well as brand experience. We've got Basar Exili, who we brought onto our board when we went public, who's got capital markets experience. And then lastly, we've got, Kimball Musk. And, obviously Kimball, who founded, the Kitchen Community and Square Roots. He's obviously board member of Tesla and SpaceX, and has done, a multitude of different things. But, by trade, he's actually a chef. So he himself believes in clean label and fresh, and realizes that there aren't a ton of players out there that are manufacturing in that space, which in lies the opportunity for us as we continue to keep growing. Just a quick last slide here about our capitalization and what that looks like. I think the biggest thing you can notice from here is that 33% of our shares are held by our management team, directors, and employees. So to some extent it's pretty tightly held. We are all invested in this, and we're really excited about what we're doing. And so I think with that, I'm going to maybe turn it back over to Alyssa and go into some questions and answers.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Bill. Jumping right into it, maybe touch or expand a little bit on the innovation. There's been some really great announcements over the past year on some new equipment. The Fresh Factory has stayed ahead of some of the trends in the industry to serve customers. So can you just expand on that?
For sure. Yeah. So I think it's great that you brought that up. There's one of the things that what we try to pride ourselves on is trying to stay at the forefront. I think with what we're building from a manufacturing perspective, it doesn't start just from what, the manufacturing facility itself, but it's the ingredients and the products and the things that are in there. And one of those things is, I'll give you an example, is a 2-ounce shot line. Wellness shots. Wellness shots is one of the fastest growing areas within just the retail, quick service restaurants, direct to consumers. A ginger shot a day, so to speak, has been something that's grown at an absolute rapid pace. And I think one of the things that we've done is invested in a shot line to bring that in. It's a lot easier to fill shots on a line than having a multitude of people trying to fill by hand, 25,000 shots a day. So we've realized that, we've got an opportunity here, and how do we stay ahead? I think we've got people in the marketplace that we talk to on a consistent basis. We've got journals and food scientists who are always looking to, really push us forward. And, I think for us it's new for people. Healthy and clean label food that can last for, 30 days, et cetera, things of that nature. It's not easy. And so, I think, that's kind of where we find ourselves in this great opportunity. While it's very difficult to do, there's no one out there necessarily doing it. And so for us, if we can continue to keep pushing forward with innovation and really help move the needle forward for the food industry, I think, we'll obviously put everybody in a better place.
Thanks, Bill. Just a reminder, if you have a question, please use the Q&A chat at the bottom of your screen. Bill, there's a question that's come in about the facility, which is in Carroll Stream, Illinois. Are we at full capacity, I guess, from a production perspective here? And would you look at expanding the facility in other parts of the United States?
So we are not at full capacity. And I say that because we are still, well, gosh, let me put it this way. We've got 4 lines in our Carroll Stream facility. We've got another line, which we bought a bar company about 1.5 years ago that is not at our facility. It's actually about 10 minutes down the road. And so at our actual facility in Carroll Stream, where we produce salad dressings and juices and dips and hummus and large pouches, one of our lines is actually on a second shift right now. There is, when it comes to capacity, I think a lot of what we've done, and this is part of, at one point, I'd say at the beginning of last year, we probably were at capacity on a few of our lines just because the equipment that we had wasn't large enough. With some of those capital investments, we've allowed ourselves to actually increase our capacity. So we have capacity right now, but we will get to a point where just everything in general, meaning ingredients and packaging in, as well as things out, we will run out of space. So, I think, for me and our goal, we've done some great things from a revenue perspective. I think that as we report and as numbers come out, once we see that, I think we can double the revenue in the same facility, but we will very quickly need to start looking for another facility, a larger facility. And so, looking forward, I would tell you that's definitely one of our goals, because we feel like there's untapped opportunity for us that because of some space constraints right now, we're maybe not able to kind of hit on some of those sales opportunities. As it relates to moving someplace else, quite honestly, no, not at the moment. And I mean, outside of, the Chicagoland area, I think one of the things that we believed is, it's really the center of the United States, and we can pretty much get to every place. With 75% of the United States we can get to within like a 2-day window from just being in Chicago. So I think one of the things that we really liked about it is really everything can kind of come directly to the middle. We get those orders and we can take those out. I think that's where it becomes really important when we think about the West Coast, of when we are smart about our scheduling, because all of our West Coast customers, we make sure we take advantage of the opportunity to when we can, put it all on one truck. And sometimes it's a full truck's already loaded. We can't fit any more on it to go out west, but where it's not, for our West Coast customers, we'll be able to actually consolidate and allow that to, hopefully have a lesser price for them to take on.
Thanks, Bill. More of a capital markets question here. So Congratulations on impressive growth over the last year of going public. There is low liquidity on the stock at the moment. Bill, can you talk a little bit about the capital market plans? And maybe
Sure.
I'll lay this one up for you. We can touch on the NCIB that we've have in place and maybe potential plans for uplisting.
Yeah, so I think that's obviously I think when we went public, I think one of the things we realized early on is that unfortunately the market went a different direction, I think, than anybody had wanted or anticipated. And for us, I think the goal has always been we want to provide value to our investors and our customers. But knowing that 2022, 2023, the world in general was still going to be dealing with real life concerns. Inflation, it's real. There's things of that nature. So for us, I think it was really about putting our heads down and continue to grow the business, continue to grow our margins, show that we really are a real player. We're a real company here. And so I think one of the things that we did is we've done that. We've put our heads down. We've gone after it. We've tried to grow our sales and grow our revenue, and really to get to that profitability. And I think we're a stone's throw away from it. And I think within the next quarter or so, we'll go right through that, and we'll find ourselves in a better place. And so now with that, and Alyssa mentioned it a little bit, we realized that the stock was undervalued, quite frankly. We know what type of revenue we have. We know how quickly we're growing, and there's no better investment than in ourselves. So seeing the stock with where it was at, we felt like, to do an NCIB just made sense, because why wouldn't we buy back some of our stock when it's trading at such a low amount? We know the value of our company is well more than that. So we decided on that strategy. Now, as we move forward, as it relates to uplisting, I think with the evolution of one market to the next, we realize that there's other opportunities in uplisting and other exchanges and things of that nature, and we are actively pursuing those as we speak, with plans in the near term future, to give ourselves the ability to be on other exchanges and increase liquidity opportunities.
Thanks, Bill. Next question here. You're a team of VCs. Does that give you a special edge on diligencing the clients or customers that you're bringing into the Fresh Factory?
I'd like to think so. I think we do everything we can. Sometimes, I'd say we're not perfect. I'd say that, but I think that there is a sense of diligence that we try to do on the back end as it relates to some of the brands. And I'd say as we get into brands, as it relates to if we're going to invest in them, I would say that obviously there's a rigorous process that we go through, which would be similar to what we would do in VC. I think when it comes to just other customers that come to us with opportunities and things of that nature, that maybe they're not going to necessarily be one that we'll invest in, but one that we clearly want to grow with and help them grow. We take that through a different process, what I'd say is, and that process would go through, all the way through from John, our CFO, to all the way, obviously, with our food scientists, our operations team, our quality team, and we kind of just vet through everything we possibly can. A lot of times, a lot of customers come to us with ideas and things that they've never been out there before. A vegan mayo. Years ago, someone came to us with vegan mayo. Well, that's a product that's relatively new to the marketplace. So, quite frankly, we're kind of breaking barriers as we bring in some of these products, because we actually believe in them and feel like we can add value to them and add to the customer.
Thanks, Bill. Last question that I see in the chat here. I see from recent news releases you have raised capital. What are your capital raising plans going forward?
Yep. So we went out to market to raise $3 million. Our first tranche of money came in about 2 weeks ago. 2 million of the 3 million has been spoken for. That first tranche of money has come in, like I mentioned 2 weeks ago. The other tranche of money to finish out the 2 million will come in next week, actually. And then we are actively pursuing the remaining $1 million that we're looking to close within the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Perfect. Thank you, Bill. With that, Bill, is there anything you'd like to add before we conclude?
No, other than thank you, everybody. I really appreciate your time today. If you have any questions or would love to know more about us, or would love to talk more with myself, or please reach out to me directly or to Alyssa, who can help facilitate and get together so that maybe we can talk even more in depth and we can go into longer term plans and things of that nature.
Thank you very much for being here, everyone. Be sure to add the Fresh Factory to your watch list, FRSH on the CSE, and reach out anytime if you have any further questions. Have a great day, everyone.